Welcome back. Today I'm teaching you the tips and tricks to get your mindset from unfit and negatively fixed to toned and in tune with opportunity in just 10 minutes a day. Be sure to stay tuned until the end when I give you my favorite way to boost positive vibes on a gloomy day. Hi, my name is Jessie Brightly, and it's my passion in life to inspire, empower, and educate my fellow offbeat creatives, just like you, to uncover your calling and launch what you love with confidence and clarity.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to this 20-minute intense results workout. Thank you so much for joining me today. Just kidding. Today we are doing an intense workout for our brains. Tips, tricks, and proven techniques to shift your mindset and pump you up. Did I get you there? If I did, you were in between one of two camps. So either first you immediately said, nope, this is not what I signed up for at all. That's it. I'm just not going to listen. Or no way, she's not getting me out of this seat. I don't know what she's thinking. No way. Or were you someone who had an open-minded optimism and you said, okay, sure, I guess this could be interesting. Or maybe she has the wrong slides open, bless her little heart. Or maybe you said, well, perhaps I could use some tips on exercise. Sure, maybe, why not? Either way, if you were immediately closed off and decided it would be terrible, or you were open-minded and optimistic, it was a choice that you were making. If you wanted to model the training techniques of an athlete to help you look like this, and that's Serena Williams, goddess of tennis, would you want to model these guys? If you remember from SNL in the 90s, it's Hans and Franz, and they want to pump you up. Or would you model this guy? And I really like this quote here where it says you can have results or excuses, not both. Which would you choose? Hans and Franz or the real deal Arnold Schwarzenegger? You choose this guy, obviously, right? Because he's got real muscles, not, stuffed sweatshirts. Our brains are just like muscles, meaning we have the ability to improve our mindsets, their tone, their flexibility, condition, and responsiveness. So if we just show up with a sweatsuit made of fake muscles and we talk a lot, but we take no action, our mindsets will not improve. But if we want to improve our mindsets, we've got to be willing to bring that Schwarzenegger and Serena level determination to our daily practices. And the best news is it requires absolutely zero exercise equipment, no spandex, unless you like spandex, in which case totally rock it. It doesn't require a gym or a membership of any kind. It just requires a few minutes of your day, and you can do it solo. You'll feel results in less than a month if you stick to it. So it's not like those other exercise plans where you've got to do it for like 3 months before you see any results. It has been scientifically proven to be awesome for you. I took some, creative liberty with that awesome word, but the scientific studies are there, trust me. And you already have everything it takes to do this. Today we are talking all about building that daily mindset workout routine. And it's going to be super easy, I promise. It is going to consist of just 4 parts, just 4, not too heavy. First part is going to be exercise gratitude. Next part is going to be practice the reset. And the next part is going to be stretch and reach out. And our fourth and final part is challenging our inner negative Nancy, or Ned, or gender non-specific name. And you might be saying, okay, but why? Which is like my favorite question in life. Why? You wanted me to do something, but what's the point? Why? Give me some facts. Give me some science. What's the purpose? So here are some brainy mindset facts. While the brain represents just 2% of a body's total weight, it accounts for 20% of the body's energy use. So during a typical day, we spend about 320 calories just to think. And if you're spending 320 calories on your thoughts, what kind of thoughts are you spending those calories on? Spend an additional 10-ish calories to think about that. Thinking of what you are grateful for throughout the day actually increases your level of dopamine in your brain. And dopamine is a neurotransmitter most commonly associated with the brain's pleasure and reward system. So if you knew that you could just kind of push a button to increase your feelings of pleasure and reward, why wouldn't you do that? You should. And the new study of neuroplasticity, relatively new in terms of neurology, is the brain's capacity to rewire itself or form new neural pathways, meaning that we can restore old or lost connections and functions that haven't been used in some time, or we can enhance memory, or we can enhance overall cognitive skills. And in that, we could conclude we can overwrite negative thought patterns with positive ones. So there are actual studies being done to show that by thinking positive thoughts versus negative ones, we can rewrite those negative thought pathways with positive ones. Pretty cool, right? So that's why we are doing this. That's why it's important, and that's why it's worth the effort. So let's begin. The first part of our 4-part routine: exercise gratitude. We have things that we can be thankful for every single day. A few of my favorite things are friends, family, my health, having a roof over my head, my furry friends, my creativity, my ability to move my body. And this one is important because I have, back pain, I have headaches, I have all kinds of different pains in my body, just like I think pretty much everyone else. But in order to appreciate and turn it into gratitude, I am grateful for the amount of ability and mobility that I do have. So sure, you can see it in the light of, I can't do this, I can't do that. But if you flip it and you see what you are able to do, it's just way more positive. It's going to build that positive neural pathway versus getting stuck in that rut of, oh, my back hurts, I can't do that. And you're going to believe that you can do more, and you will then do more. So think about what you can do versus what you cannot do. And now, can you name some? I'd love to know in the comments below. Share some of your favorite things that you are grateful for. I'd love to hear them. And now my challenge to you for the next 7 days: every morning, write 3 things that you are grateful for. So it could be anything on that list. It could be anything that you have in your life personally, anything that you're excited for in the future. It's really helpful to write those down as if they're happening now. So I am grateful for, my trip to Paris. And if that's not even something on your radar, if you keep writing it, you are creating those neural pathways and those beliefs. So try it out. And every evening before you go to sleep, write 3 positive things that happened that day. And it can be super easy to, end your day thinking, oh, this should happen, this should happen. No, don't do that. Try to think about the 3 positive things that happened that day. So sure, I was stuck in traffic for 45 minutes, but I got to listen to my favorite podcast, or I got to hear my favorite artist's new album in its entirety. That's cool. So that's my challenge to you for the next 7 days for the daily gratitude exercise. And now we are moving on to practice the reset. Every encounter is a new beginning with unlimited potential to be awesome. Think about that and remember that. Because every time you walk into a new situation, like you just parked your car in a parking lot to go to a meeting, and whatever led up to that meeting that day was terrible and crap, and if you walk into that meeting with that attitude and with that baggage, no matter what happens at that meeting, that's what's going to be carried into it. But if you reset and you go into that meeting with the new opportunity of, anything could happen. Imagine meeting someone that could be your next business partner. If you went in with a baggage of everything shit and you met that person, they may not think that you're that great. But if you met them with the positive attitude of everything's an opportunity, things could happen. Just saying. So think about a typical day and how you go into each interaction. So let's say you arrive at work after sitting in traffic. And because you are frazzled from that, you somehow punch your coffee and it ends up all over your desk. Been there? It's terrible. Then you decide to have lunch with your coworker, and as usual, they are late. So disrespectful, so annoying. This lands you late to your post-lunch meeting at work, and your boss gives you the side eye as you walk in and you try to be sneaky. Doesn't work, but your boss sees you, gives you a side eye. Not a good feeling. You've already had all these things happen. Late from traffic, punched your coffee, coworker was late. Terrible. And then because you were late to the meeting, the boss asked you to type up the meeting minutes, and you had to stay late and type those minutes and be stuck in traffic again. And you arrive home to a hungry family, spouse, or furry friend, or yourself. You're hangry, you're home late, you just had a craptastic day, and you want to be done with it. All those things added up. But if you practiced the reset and you saw each of these encounters as a new opportunity, you could have seen your stuckness in traffic as an opportunity to text your coworkers and your boss to let them know you're running late. So give them the opportunity to say, hey, okay, that's fine. Thank you for respecting us and telling us you're going to be late. And take a minute in the parking lot of your work to breathe in and breathe out that traffic stress. So you're giving yourself the space to process it and just let it go. And you're letting your boss and your coworkers know that you are going to be late. And that way you give yourself that extra time to sit in your car and just breathe or listen to your favorite song. That would lead to more calm nerves, which makes you less likely to punch your coffee. And when your coworker is late to lunch, tell them you understand that they're late. Mean it, like genuinely mean it. Get to that emotional state where you release the negative feelings toward them and let them know that you have a meeting you can't be late to. Have them respect your boundaries and you respect your own boundaries. And because you forgave your coworker and you expressed and respected your own boundaries, you get to that next post-lunch meeting on time. Yay! And then you didn't have to type up those meeting minutes, but you still ended up in traffic after work because, let's face it, 5 o'clock traffic anywhere is not the best. But you looked at it as an opportunity to listen to your favorite podcast or music, and you arrive home ready for a relaxing evening. So we can see how this series of events comes differently than when we had the building up of negativity. When we looked at each instance as its own separate occurrence with a reset between, it doesn't add up. It just gives the opportunity for new situations to be judged on their own merit. And so by letting go of the day or the week or the year's negativity or old energy, we can give space for opportunity in every single encounter we enter into. So, for the next 7 days, my challenge to you for practicing the reset: every time you enter into a new room, a situation, a meeting, a conversation, let go of everything leading up to it. Just let go of it. See if you can do it. Kind of breathe it in, breathe it out, which is the next challenge. Give yourself space before entering to take 5 deep breaths. And while breathing in, say, I am breathing in opportunity. And while breathing out, say, either I am breathing out negativity or I am breathing out old energy. And now, let's give it a go. I don't know if you can talk while breathing in. I can't. I think some people can. But if you can breathe in and talk, say, I'm breathing in opportunity as you breathe in. So I am breathing in opportunity. And then as you breathe out, I'm breathing out old energy. And then just do that 4 more times. And see if you feel any better. And really feel that old energy leaving your body as you say that and you breathe out. And feel the opportunity come in as you breathe in. And now for the next part, stretch and reach out. Man is not an island. We are a community. Give someone the opportunity to help you. In a society that prides itself on self-sufficiency, I urge you to remember that human connection is critical. In at least American society, even though we're connected socially on social media and, digitally through all sorts of different platforms, it seems like we don't have that one-on-one personal connection through face-to-face contact as much as I think we should. And so I feel like when something is happening to us, we don't share that. We might share it on social media, but how often does someone actually call or text and say, hey, do you want to hang out? I see you're going through this thing. Not often. In this graphic here, you can see, according to the CDC, suicide rates rose across the U.S. from 1999 to 2016 in every single state except for one. And in that one state where they didn't raise, they only decreased by 1%. So in my state of Florida, suicide rates increased from 6 to 18%, an increase of 6 to 18%. That's bananas. And this is terrifying because that's a lot of states in the darkest blue that you can see. The increase was between 38 and 58% for a method of death that is completely preventable. That's terrifying. According to data from 2015, researchers found that more than half of the people, who died by suicide did not have a known diagnosed mental health condition at the time of death. Relationship problems or loss, substance misuse, physical health problems, and money, job, legal, or housing stress often contributed to risk for suicide. Meaning, if we take those two facts combined, that more than half did not have a known mental health condition, and that the reasons were usually personal, we have the ability to prevent suicide by reaching out either for ourselves or to others. So when suicide is increasing, when the rates are increasing, and the risk factors more than half the time tend to be personal relationships, personal situations, I personally find that empowering because it means that we as society have the opportunity, and I'll go a step further and say the obligation, to reach out to each other and destigmatize the mental health weight of just saying that mental health is a problem and saying that we shouldn't talk about it. We should talk about it. If you have a friend who's going through something heavy, reach out to them. If you are going through something heavy, don't feel the stigma of mental health. Understand that this is something that apparently a lot of people are going through if suicide rates are increasing, and know that you are empowered to reach out. And we have the ability and the obligation to prevent suicide by stretching and reaching out. And that's a big part of my mission in life, is to help humanize mental health and say that, we have the ability and the power to decrease suicide rates in our own small communal way to be humans to each other, basically. So I know that was heavy, but now we get to practice what I already said, the reset. So here's some puppies, here's some kittens, here's some friends and some sunshine and some rainbows. So let's take a second. Suicide rates are heavy stuff, but this is a positive overall presentation. So let's take a second to reset and think about, the good stuff going forward. Look at all those fun little images. Look how happy everything is. That's good stuff. Life is still good. And now the next challenge for you is going to be in the next 7 days for the stretch and reach out. If there's something that you've been struggling with, either personally or professionally, reach out to someone you don't usually speak to and ask for their opinion. Meet up for coffee or have them over for dinner. And so when I say ask for their opinion, that's if you are not comfortable asking for help. I know a lot of people are not comfortable asking for help. It's kind of this muscle you have to exercise in at least American society. So an easy baby step is to ask for an opinion. Hey, I'm having difficulty with this. Can I ask your opinion on something? Versus, hey, I'm having difficulty with this. Can you help me? It seems less heavy. So in the next 7 days, think of doing that with someone that you don't usually speak to. Because I know we can lean a lot on maybe our core 2 or 3 friends or family or close knit group. Try finding someone that you don't usually speak to that much. Extend your network a little bigger. And then reach out to another person, a friend, a colleague, a coworker, a family member who you think might be struggling with something personally or professionally, and just offer to listen. Don't even offer up a solution unless they ask for one. So often people just need to be heard. They're not even looking for a solution. They're just looking to be heard and seen, and that's all they need. So that's my challenge to you for the stretch and reach out in the next 7 days. And now, for the 4th and final part, we are going to challenge our inner negative Nancy, or Ned, or gender non-specific name. And for this, you can grab the digital download at jessiebrightly.com/digital-downloads, which is right there on your screen. The download that you're looking for is that guy right there with all the really pretty colors and big chunks. It's real nice. I like it. And this is what the workbook looks like. So it's got the 10 prompts there and then the workbook for you to go through them. For challenging our inner negative Nancy, we're going to ask ourselves these 10 questions when we have a negative thought. So the negative thoughts can be something like, oh, my boss called me into the office. They're obviously going to fire me. Or, oh, my partner hasn't texted me back. They're obviously dead or cheating on me, or, the worst case scenario when your brain tends to go to that. And it's not healthy by any means whatsoever. So these are 10 questions that you can start to trigger as soon as you have that negative thought, to give your brain something to consider instead of that first initial thought. And the first one is, what am I saying to myself? And so when you actually look at it at its face value and say, literally, what am I saying to myself? Is it really that logical? Maybe not necessarily. And the next question, what unhelpful behaviors am I engaging in? And so if it's something with thinking your partner might be cheating on you, is that helpful? Definitely not. If you think that your boss is going to fire you, is that helpful? Definitely not. And the next question, what is the evidence for my evaluation? I think this one's probably the best because so often there is absolutely zero evidence. So if you have, if you're a mother and you think that you're the worst mother ever and your child's going to hate you, like, what? Give me the evidence for that. What is the evidence? There's none. Your child is 1. They can't even talk. So what evidence do you have that your child's still alive, your child's still thriving, your child still laughs and hugs and all that stuff? You clearly cannot be the worst mother ever and your child won't hate you. So the evidence for your evaluation is very good to get you out of that thought process because your brain logically cannot come up with the evidence for it. What is the evidence against it? Also a good one. How much do I believe it? 0 to 100%. And that's just another good question to follow up with. What's the evidence for my evaluation? Because really, how much do you believe it? Like, if you think your boss is going to fire you, how much do you really believe that? Probably not that much. How is it helpful for me to think this way? That's a good question. Usually not very, because negative thoughts usually not very helpful. How else could I view the situation? And this one is fun. You could be super creative with this because it could be, oh, my boss is going to call me in to give me the entire company. My boss is calling me in to ask if I can pet sit for them on their vacation. My boss is calling me in to see if I want a new desk chair. Just weird stuff. Have fun with it. And that can actually trick your brain into just going on a completely different tangent. What advice would I give to a friend? And this is my absolute favorite one because how often do we engage in negative self-talk that we would never, ever say to a friend or a child? So much. I know I say things to myself all the time that I would never, ever, ever say to my best friend or to a kid or to my 6-year-old self. So why do I do it to myself? No idea. So as soon as I start thinking back to myself, is this something I would say to my friend? No? Okay, I should really stop saying it to myself. What are healthier thoughts or behaviors I can respond with? And this is a good exercise to get you out of that thought process and to come up with healthier thoughts. And finally, a healthier evaluation is, and then come up with what your healthier evaluation is. For the next 7 days, my challenge to you, my friend, is use these 10 questions to challenge your internal negative Nancy anytime you feel a negative thought pattern coming on. So have them handy. The printout has that nice infographic on the first page with all 10 questions. And just pick one or have all 10 ready and go through all 10 if you need to, if the first one that you choose didn't get it fixed. And see how that works out for you. And here's my little effort to kind of like change the world in a small little way. In the next 7 days, gently and as subtly as possible, whenever a coworker, a family member, a friend, or a chapter member, if you're in a group, is sharing their negative Nancy with you, ask just one of the 10 questions to them in a caring and inquisitive way. Inquisitive is very important, not accusatory. Then follow up with a supportive statement. So if you have a friend who's going on some negative tangent, after they're done, listen to them. Be sure you listen to them. Don't just cut them off. Say in a very inquisitive way, oh, really? Well, what's your evidence for that? Or how much do you believe that? And if they get super defensive, follow it up with a supportive statement, but just get them to think. So often we do the work for other people. And so we say, that's probably not true. And that's us doing the work for someone. That's us trying to get their negative Nancy to be quiet, but that's not going to get them to do the work on their own. So we're going to teach them to fish by saying, oh, tell me, what's the evidence for that? And that kind of makes their brain go, oh, I don't know. What is the evidence for that? See how it goes. Let me know in the comments how it works out. And then I gave this presentation in an actual business group. And so I had them practice back and forth. So if you have someone you can practice with, that would be super fun to express a negative Nancy thought and have the other person challenge it and go back and forth. So if you want to do that, I highly recommend it. And that completes our daily mindset workout routine. And this shouldn't take you more than but 10 minutes a day. And it's going to build your positive mindset, opportunity-based mindset that will get you out of negative ruts and into the more positive outlook that will build seeing opportunities versus negativity. So we're going to exercise gratitude, practice the reset, stretch and reach out, and challenge your inner negative Nancy. And just as a super bonus, if you want even more bounce in your step, check out my personal favorite motivational speaker, Jessica. Click the card above now to check out her video on YouTube. I'm not related whatsoever, but it's just the best internet video I've seen in my entire life. So you can check that out there. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching and allowing me to pump you up. That is your 10-minute daily mindset workout routine. You can find more about me on Facebook and Instagram at Jessie Brightly. And I got more YouTube videos for you to watch. And if you want to sign up for my weekly newsletter, it's got stuff like this with actionable items as well as fun stuff and positive affirmations and stuff like that. So thank you so much. I hope that this will help you, and I hope that you follow through on those 7 daily challenges and check back in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Now for my number 1 favorite way to boost my positive vibes on a gloomy day. I have this sunshine bank. It's actually a real bank that I got at a store, and I use these tiny little notes that anytime that I have something good happen in a day, I write them down and I fold them up super duper tiny, and then I put them with a date on them in this little bank. And so I have this little collection of all of these really positive thoughts and positive occurrences that I've collected throughout this year, saved up in here. You can hear them shaking around in there. So that if I ever have a really bad day, I just pop open this little thing here and get them all out like a piggy bank. And that way I can remember, even when things are really bad, it's not always that bad. So if you can do that, it's a super helpful thing. You can use a mason jar or anything around the house and just cut up little strips of paper. Even more fun if it's a clear jar and you use multicolored papers. I really recommend it, and it has been such a blast doing that and just checking out what I put in there. And you forget these things too, so it's even better as like a little memorabilia jar. If you have enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, definitely check these out over here. And be sure to subscribe below, because I release videos like this every Tuesday, Transformational Tuesdays, and I would love for you to get on board with all of the mindset advice. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers to creating, and have a fantastic week.